here at E3 and we're talking El Shaddai, which is an absolutely beautiful game now. It's already out in Japan, I believe.
Yes.
And it's finally coming over to us in America and over in Europe as well. So first of all, tell us a little bit about the story, because it's based off the book of Enoch, is that right?
It is. This is quite a unique thing. We like the idea of making a character action game based on the Dead Sea Scrolls, because it's kind of this, ancient history that people thought maybe was off limits. We make games out of Roman mythology, Greek, Japanese, Norse. Why not Western mythology? But we thought the best way to do it would be to give it to a team who has no connection to that. So let's go to Japan, because we already like Japanese. We love games like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, and we really loved Okami, which is a game that Clover Studios did for Capcom. And we love the art. So when Clover was breaking up, we went to the guy who did the art. His name is Sawaki Takayasu, and said, how do you feel about making a game based on Book of Enoch? He had never heard of Book of Enoch, but he read it and thought it was cool, and he kind of went to town, adapting it in a really new, crazy, fresh way. We said, do whatever you want to do. Make the game that you see in your brain. Don't try to make it look real. Make it look like you're walking through an art gallery that's always changing.
Because it's got quite a bit of prestige, right? Because the director also did the character design for Devil May Cry and Okami, is that right?
That's right. He also worked on Steel Battalion as well.
Bloody hell. So yeah, a fair bit of prestige behind the game. Now, the book is a beautiful book. It is absolutely wonderful. A massive, massive amount of history. But the game has 3 main weapons. Tell us a little bit about the weapons and how they're used.
Well, so one of the concepts is we wanted to pare down this game to make it a little simpler to understand. So instead of having like 20 weapons and a huge inventory screen, we thought, okay, let's just make 3 very different weapons, kind of do like a paper, rock, scissors, Pokemon style thing where one weapon is really good at this one's good at this. And when you start the game, Enoch has no weapons, because the idea is that the weapons of the angels have been stolen from heaven and you have to reclaim them from the bad guys. So when you go down there, you kind of grab the weapons back from these bad guys and you purify them because they've been corrupted by evil. And as you fight, it's very easy to learn combos. It's all kind of based on timing and context and where you are in relation. So just by exploring, you'll find these cool combos and you'll be able to switch weapons. But Enoch can only carry one weapon at a time, so it's very strategic. You have to decide, do I want to keep my sword to take this projectile weapon, or, and when you get a new weapon, it also changes all of your other abilities, like jumping and dashing, so it's very tactical.
And when you say tactical, about the levels as well, a bit of exploration now, were you telling me when I was playing that there's certain parts of levels that need to be explored if you've got certain weapons, a little bit about that? So it's not just what we're seeing, it's quite deep.
Right. I mean, some of the levels are a little more straightforward than others, but some are quite wide open. And for example, one of the weapons, the Gale, it's the projectile. When you have that, you can do this great dash that takes you across the screen. So if you keep that weapon throughout a level, you might get to an area where you can get to an inaccessible platform, which leads to a secret level. And there's a bunch of items you have to pick up if you want to get the good ending in the game. So unless you're really, a good explorer, you might miss those first time through the levels and have to go back and get them. But yeah, it's definitely a game that you want to replay. And after you beat it once, you actually unlock a lot of cool reasons to go back and do it again.
And very finally, the style of the game now, it's action, as we can see in the background here, but it's also side-scrolling. Let's talk a little about that and how those two merge.
Right, so the director, Sawaki, he's a huge fan of Super Mario Brothers, as most of us are. We grew up on this thing. So, it started out as just a 3D action game, but he thought, why not do a little 2D as well? Why not? So early on, there were 1 or 2 bits, and then he asked us, do you think North Americans and Europeans will like this? We're like, definitely, everyone likes this. So towards the end of the game, there's actually a lot of that. So about all told, 40% of the game is actually 2D side-scrolling, and they get complicated with like combat and puzzles, and there's even another gameplay mode, a driving mode, which we've just revealed, and it's very different. So yeah, this game kind of keeps you guessing,
So can you tell everybody watching now when the game's available and on what platform?
So it's coming out for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. In North America, it's going to be July 26th. Europe, it's going to be about the first week of September, and there's all those e-figs and stuff, all those little languages you have. And a cool thing is if you're like an otaku who likes anime, we're leaving all the Japanese voices in as well as a full English dub, so you can choose whatever you like. And if you're in North America, the demo here at E3 can actually be downloaded now on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Arcade, and Europe in a few weeks.
Always in a few weeks. Thank you very much for your time. Destructoid, keep watching the front page.